Good morning, students. Today, I'm going to discuss about the week 3 program, that is data preprocessing. In unit 2, already I discussed about the data preprocessing, and there will be 7 steps to perform preprocessing, and it is the important and foremost step for any machine learning algorithm before evaluating a model. So these are the 7 steps we already discussed that for which is required for preprocessing the data. Now I'll make you to practice how we are going to execute a machine learning program in Google Colab. For that, first you open your Google. Here simply type Google Colab, and here just click on this, and you can here we have a new notebook. Just click on new notebook. So this is how a home page of Google Colab required. So here if you want, you can change the title of your Colab. And the very important and foremost step I already told you that for to pre-process the data to evaluate any machine learning algorithm, the very first step is we have to acquire the data set. The very first step in pre-processing is acquiring the data set. That is getting or acquiring the data set. So here we have two options where we can find the data sets. One is Kaggle datasets. You can, so whatever the datasets you want, you can click on this Kaggle. You can find it from this repository. We have n number of datasets. As per the problem we have selected from here, we can download the different datasets. This is one where we find datasets, and another one is we have UCI ML repository datasets. That is UCI machine learning repository. So here you can see datasets, UCI machine learning repository. Here also you can see it is for iris dataset, heart disease dataset, like breast cancer, wine diabetes. Likewise, we can find, you can see here we have more than 600 datasets in this. So first, whatever the problem you have identified, according to your problem, you download the dataset, and for executing a program in Google Colab, upload the dataset into the Google Drive. So upload the dataset into your Google Drive. Why? Because we have to mount, we are going to mount our Google Colab with the Google Mount. That we will see one by one. The very first step is, that is what the first step, getting the datasets. Next step in pre-processing is importing libraries. So already we discussed there are three important libraries are there. That is, so instead of typing, I have just copied into Word document. Why? Because we don't have much time. So just I'm copying and pasting it here. So these are the main three libraries we require. That is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. And we can also, along with this, we are also going to import the sklearn, scikit-learn. Why? Because all these pre-processing packages, what we require now, we are going to import those packages from sklearn. This is NumPy for arrays and Pandas, and this is Matplotlib. So this is how we are going to run. This is a cell each, and let us execute this program cell by cell. So just click on this. Yes, successfully we have executed the cell. The next one, just click on code. We will move on to the next one. The next step, this is one important thing. Only this piece of code what I have writing here is required if you are executing a machine learning program in Google Colab. That is from google.colab import drive, and we are going to mount the drive with this Google Colab. So when we run this cell, it will redirect you to your mail ID. So just click on the mail ID what you want to mount. Just click on continue. Yes, click on continue. Yes, successfully we have mounted our Google Colab with the drive. The next step is we have to import the data set. What is the third step in pre-processing? Next third step is importing the data sets. Now, we already downloaded one data set and we have uploaded into Google Drive. From Google Drive, we have to upload it into, we have to import it into our program. So that also I have already explained. For that, we are going to use a method from pandas, that is some variable, whatever here, whatever variable you want to take, you take, is equal to pd.read_csv. Now here, how we are going to write the path is, suppose this is my Google Drive and I want to work on one, I have data sets, I'll show you that. That is COVID. I'm working with this COVID worldwide data set. COVID worldwide. I have downloaded one data set. So here we can search. Yes, here. So this is my data set. Just right click, so this one. So here, how we are going to copy the path is, just click on here, this left hand side part, go to Drive, My Drive, and here you can see COVID worldwide.csv. This is, just right click on it, just copy path, and here within this single quote, you can now see this is how. Let me run this. I have got this. Let me show you. Copy path. Like this. Sorry. Yes, successfully I have imported the data set into my Google Colab. So this is the third step, importing the data set. Just download the data set from Kaggle or UCIML repository, upload the data set into Google Drive. From that Google Drive, here if you click, you can find the path. Just right click on that particular data set, just copy the path and paste it over here. So the next one is, the next one more important thing is, here we are uploading the .csv file, but we have to convert the CSV file into data frame. Why? Because we have to convert it into a structured format in the form of rows and columns. So we have to represent that CSV file into two-dimensional format. For that, we are going to use a method with the pandas library, that is data frame. So we have converted this into data frame. Let us see how our data looks. Simply print. Yes, you can see that CSV file we have converted into a structured two-dimensional format in the form of rows and columns. For this sake, we are going to use this data frame. To work means to pre-process the data directly with CSV file we can't do. That's why we have to convert it into data frame. Next, one more important step is, we have to extract the independent and dependent variables. Even this point also I discussed when I with this data preprocessing, how to extract the independent variable and dependent variable. For that, we are going to use a function called as ilog. Okay. So see here. See here. I created two variables, x and y. So df is what we have created here, this variable, dot ilog index location, colon, comma, colon, -1. What is the first colon indicates? First colon indicates all rows. Second colon indicates all columns. But here I have given -1. Means except -1, remaining all rows and columns I want to execute. That is stored in x variable. And coming to the y variable, I am extracting the dependent variable, that is first row indicates, first colon indicates all rows, and -1 indicates that last column I want to display. Okay. See, yes, successfully executed. If you want to see, you can simply say print x. Okay. And you can also see print, you want to see the dependent variable. Yes, we got only the last column. So these are all independent variables and this is the dependent variable. In this way, we are going to extract the independent and dependent variable. That is also one part of this data preprocessing. Next one is how to encode the categorical data. Before that, we also need, is there any missing data in this one? So for that, let us do, is there any null values in our data set or not? Okay, let us see. See here. Yes, of course. See, these are the column names. In column total deaths, we have 6 null values and recovered we have 21. Active cases 9. So total of 64 columns are null values in our particular data set what we have downloaded. That is COVID worldwide.csv. We have total of 64 null values. So we have to fill the null values. For that also I have told you two techniques. Either we have to remove that particular row, but always it's not a good practice removing that one. Instead of that, with the finding the mean and filling the mean values is one more way to recover these null values. Okay. So let us, what I'm doing here is, I'm just copying this df what is there into another variable called as df1. Why? Because I want to show you before copying and after copying what changes we have made. Let us see this. See here, before, what is the shape of this data set? So what I am doing first, I have copied everything into df1 and I want to drop the rows with missing values. So for that I have used a function called as drop and I adding one more attribute called as true. And then after that I want to print what is after missing, what is the shape of the data set. So once you run this, you will come to know. See here, before dropping missing values, I have 231 rows and 8 columns. Once I have dropped the missing values, my shape of the data set is 195 rows and 8 columns. Okay? So this is how we are one way to handle with the missing data. But it's not always preferable to remove the null values. So one more way we can do is, I already told you, that is fill with the mean values. Let us copy these values, this one into one more variable. Let us do this. I'm copying this into another variable df2. Now I want to fill the missing values with mean values. Okay. So for that, this is a simple method we are going to use. That is fill missing value with the mean column values. That is df2. We have already copied into df. Fill null values with df2 of dot mean. And again one more thing, true. And printing, is there any null values? Let us see the result of this. We have got error. Let me take. Mhm. So this is one way to fill the missing values. I have done some great mistake. Okay, let us see this. Then let's print. Next one is next one. This I'll make you clear this error. The next one is the next step in pre-processing is encoding the categorical data. So once here you check this data set. This is the data set. When you see this, all the columns are into vector format. But when you see this country label, these are all in string format, where our machine learning model can't understand the data which is string in string format. So we have to convert this string format into vectors. For that, we have a method called as encoding. So for that, we are going to use a method called as label encoder. That is from sklearn.preprocessing, we are going to import label encoder. So from sklearn.preprocessing, we are importing label encoder and we are creating an object of this label encoder. Let us, yes. Now, from this, which one we want to convert? So in this total columns, we have only country column is the string format. For that, so this df2, we have a country column which we have copied it into df2. For that, we are using this label encoder dot fit underscore transform. This fit underscore transform, what it will do is it is going to fit the data and then it is going to transform it into vector format. Okay? So that is df2 of which column? This is country column. Next, let us print that country column, that is unique values, and we have different countries, and for each country we want unique values. Say if we give the same value, again it gives an error. So we want different unique values. See, so that's why we use a method called as this unique. So these are the different unique values. You can see how many countries are there, that many unique values it has given. Now let us print this df2. See now, country, you see earlier before label encoding we have seen in a string format. Now we have converted it into vector format. This is how we are going to convert string into vector with the help of a method called as label encoder that we are going to import from sklearn.preprocessing library. Now, the next one is important one, that is splitting the data set into training and testing. For that, we have to use 4 variables called as xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest. Okay, so here you see that also from sklearn.model underscore selection, we have to import train underscore test underscore split. Okay, and we are going to assign a 4 variables xtrain, xtest, ytrain, y variable, y test, where xtrain, xtest you can say training data for independent variables, testing data for independent variable, training data for dependent variable, testing data for dependent variable. And we use this train test split. X and Y are the 2 variables. And test size 0.2 indicates from total data set, 20% we are giving for testing. And random state equal to 1 indicates every time whenever we are training our model, randomly it has to take the data from the data set. For that, we are going to give random state equal to 1. We have successfully executed this one. Now, you can print xtrain data, and if you can print test data, you can print train data. You can also print the test data. Yes, we have printed the train data and test data. So this is one. And last one, last step indicates this is the end of the data preprocessing. It marks when you do this when you do this standard scalar, it represents the end of this preprocessing. So what mean this standard scalar? So the standard scalar, just once again you check my video, that is data preprocessing. In this standard scalar, we are going to normalize the range of values. Okay. For that reason, we are going to use this standard scalar where we are going to bring all the values into one range so that we can get the accurate results whenever we are performing some machine learning model. For that, we use again from sklearn.preprocessing, we are going to import a standard scalar. And that standard scalar, we are going to create one object. And for training data, we are going to use that standard scalar. Again, we are fitting the data and transforming that data. And again, for testing also, we are creating that standard scalar and we are directly transforming. And for testing data, we need not to fit the data. Directly we can transform. But whenever you are doing standard scalar for training data, we have to fit the data and then we can transform. But whereas coming to testing, we need not to fit the data. Directly we can transform the data. Yes. So this is how we are going to find out the standard scalar. After that, you can test to what extent we have normalized or standardized this range of values. You can test. For that, again, just simply say this X train. Just compare this X train now and before doing standard scalar. Yes, definitely there will be some change in this output. The range of, we have brought it into some range of values. Okay. So this is all about data preprocessing, where the very first step is we have to acquire the data set from Kaggle or UCML. We are going to acquire the data set. Then the next step is we are going to import the libraries. And then if we are executing a program in Google Drive, this is the important step required to mount the Google Drive with your Colab. And then we are going to import the data set, then converting it into data frame, then extracting the independent and dependent variables. And next one, is there any null values? Yes, if you find null values, one method is to dropping the null values, or another method is filling with the mean values. And another one is, if any categorical data is there in a data set, that we have to convert it into vectors with the help of label encoder. And then the next important step is fitting the data set into training and testing. For that, we are going to use a method called as train test fit. And we are going to use the 4 variable train test, y train, y test. And then the last one is, which ends the mark of this pre-processing, is standard scalar, where we are going to normalize or standardize the range of values in a particular data set. So these are the 7 important steps required for data pre-processing. Thank you.